Howdy, it's Mr. Pete again, tubalcain, and today is What Is It? Mystery Tool 19B, the answer. So this is the answer to number 19. But before I get to those items, I've got to back up on an earlier What Is It, which was either number 17 or 18, have forgotten which, but we never did really identify this. And it was sent by Roger Taylor. I had all kinds of wild answers, and I did not know myself. Just couldn't figure it out. Finally, I thought it was some type of mandrel or a holding device, but in fact, what it is, and a man not so fresh, Mr. Not So Fresh, sent me the actual answer, and I believe it's from England, and the Docks Music Company calls this an adjustable reamer, and it's used to repair brass instruments, musical instruments, and it's quite a costly item. It would cost $200 or $300, but that was listed in pounds, so I'm not sure what a pound is over in England. I thought they used the euro, but that's why it's relatively lately built with the zinc cutters, because I guess it's probably for fixing damaged brass instruments, reaming them out to the correct size, maybe the valves of a trumpet or something like that. But that's what that is. Finally figured that out. Also in the last episode, number 18, remember I showed you that brass saw jointer, and I threw this in free of charge as to what it is. Everybody knew, but this is really a saw setter. And these have zero value. I've seen many of them thrown away at auctions because they just have no interest, no use, no value anymore. But it's a saw set. Okay, let's get on to what actually is concerned here in this video. Remember, I had 3 items. And I was shocked. I thought I had some real stumpers there that nobody would figure out. Many of you knew what these things were, and at least one man knew what all 3 of them were. And that was clock guy number 2. And he said, so I assume he works with clocks, he said that this is a pair of sliding tongs for screws and other little parts used in horology, which is repair of watches, jewelry. And it was shown in one of his catalogs, and it is missing a spring. Apparently there would be a spring here someplace to hold it open, and then that would slide back, and in fact was used like a little hand vise. So that's what that is. And I think it is pretty old. I thought that I had everybody stumped on this, and this is nothing more than coke. A fuel derived from coal, and the coal is put in a coking oven. Hey, you can see a lot of good pictures of that on if you look up the River Rouge plant where they made steel, Henry Ford's plant, and they'll show you the big coking ovens where this stuff comes out, and all of the impurities have been removed, and it's pretty much pure carbon, and it's used mainly in iron making. Iron was made from limestone, iron ore, and coke, and that was the fuel. But it's very lightweight. And I remember when I was a kid, the coal trucks around town said coal, coke, and ice. And I remember their phone number, 74. It said call 74 for coal or coke. And then in the summer they had nothing to do, so they sold ice. I actually would have bet $10 that nobody would have gotten this. And hey, by the way, out there's some of you that have a fixation on foreskin and nipples. And no, this isn't involved with those operations. And it's marked the Heaton Peninsular Button Fastener Company out of Boston, Massachusetts, and it was used to put buttons on shoes. kind of a stapling device. And then somebody said, oh, these are still used. These are quite common in certain countries, and they use them to put ornamental things on shoes or boots, like ribbons and things like that. So I guess they're still used, and it is a pretty neat tool. Actually, it's beautifully made. So you guys had tubalcain real surprised in this episode, so I've got to come up with some things that are a little harder than what I've been doing, but I thought I had it with this one, but I sure did not. Thank you for watching, and be sure and watch the next episode, which will be number 20A.